the exhibition of Bern artists, Zimoun, is a very important exhibition for Museum Haus Konstruktiv, because Zimoun is a young generation of artists who is really showing us very well how constructivist concrete art can be thought about in the terms of contemporary art. His work is consisting of different units. So, for example, this installation here has a unit of a wooden block, of a DC motor and of a wooden bar. And this DC motor makes the wooden line move. So this is the principal unit he applies, and then he uses this unit and applies it onto a grid which is connected with the space, which is sort of oriented to the size of the space. And then he multiplies it in many different versions. So what we actually have here is, on the base of a specific grid, he constructs a floor installation which is, with the several units he uses, is making a different image each time and also a different sound. So we have a sound and visual installation on the floor, which is sort of taking the entire space of the exhibition and which is very specifically dealing with the spectator. So when the spectator enters his exhibition, they are first of all looking for a certain hint to how to understand the work, and then they see the exhibition title or the title of the work, and they soon realize that the title will not help them at all, because the title is really just a listing of the material he is using for the installation. And so when you analyze the installation you're seeing, you actually very soon come to the conclusion that what you see is what you hear, and what you hear is what you see. But this is interesting in our terms, not just as a phenomenon for recognition of the work, but it's also interesting when you conceptualize it in our context, because you see it's not really work of minimal art, because when you see the material, it's a very cheap material and it's handmade. So that's the main difference point to minimal art, is very handmade. So then you might think it's a piece of arte povera, but then again, for arte povera there's a huge seriality and a huge multiplication, and so this would not necessarily apply to arte povera. Then you might think it's a piece of conceptual art, but conceptual art is the importance lies on the concept and is less important to have an exhibition space. But here the work needs an exhibition space because it's strongly connected with the space. And so we can actually very clearly see that all these elements which don't fit into a certain category actually are the elements which are categorizing his own work. So he's really the own specificities of his genuine work, and it's really an important moment for the visitors to sort of connect with the work, to spend some time with the work, to also listen to the sound and to have their own connections which they create in comparison to the sound they hear and the visuals they see, and the longer time they spend, the more they will sort of enter into a different kind of recognition for it.